Hello, everypony. Blue Devil, Red Devil here. I think I need to bring this slightly closer. There we go. That's much better. Alright. I'm extremely tired, so let's go ahead and fill this up with seed. So we're going to tackle this field right here. Well, this goes ahead and finish this field. We're going to tackle this field, which we haven't seen before. Don't really know what to talk about, but is where I can just ramble on about stuff I care about and whatnot. So, I guess one of the things I can talk about is simply this thing I'm getting disgusted with. Recalls on food. In this day and age, why the hell is there so many recalls on food? Especially for stuff that seems simple to understand how to not have the problem. Like, I don't know, some salmonella. It happens because of blood from certain animals and from feces from certain animals. So how is shit becoming contaminated with this stuff? Seriously. How is green getting salmonella? Except the only thing I can think of is the manure being put onto the plants. But the thing is, plants won't get salmonella if the manure sits long enough to break down. Meaning they are taking raw manure, fresh, not letting it decay, not letting it ferment, and it's taking it right from the field, right from the animals, and spreading it out into the fields. Which is insane to think about. I don't really know how liquid manure works and stuff, but I'm so used to actual manure. Liquid slurry, I should say. For me, you don't put the... You take the stuff, you put it on a pile, and at the end of the year, or you wait a full year, then you get at the beginning of the year, until you plant, you spread it onto the fields. But by having it sit there over the course of summer, winter, fall, and winter, it heats up, it breaks down. It gets rid of the bad stuff because it sits there. It allows bugs to get in. Bugs remove the bad stuff. All that means is they're not allowing nature to take its course. And I hate that idea. If you look at the facts, that most of the produce that's grown now is about 20 to 30% less healthier than it was only about 60 to 100 years ago. And it's insane when you think about it, because corn, potatoes, tomatoes, vegetables are becoming less healthier. Fruit is becoming less healthier. How the hell do you take healthy stuff and make it less healthy? Well, simply by forcing it to grow faster than what it should. You're forcing produce to grow a hell of a lot faster than it should, to the point where it's getting ripe a hell of a lot faster. Like, I noticed some of the tomatoes, not potatoes, tomatoes, plants that I used to take from mid-May when I planted them as seeds. They wouldn't produce anything until about mid to the beginning of July to mid-July. You wouldn't be able to pick anything. Actually, that's when I was transplanting them. So I haven't dealt with tomatoes in almost 4 years. But the tomatoes I used to plant them, and only all I know is the tomato seeds I was looking at the store, because I was thinking about doing it again, but I didn't like them and I put the seeds back, because I remember it taking about a month and 3/4 to 2.5 months before the plant would produce anything. Now it's about a month. That's not right. It means you're taking the nutrients that the tomatoes would naturally produce and forcing it to use that nutrients to grow faster. Problem is that nutrients is what made the vegetables healthy. And don't get me on all that poor shit about tomatoes being a fruit. Oh, who gives a shit? Tomatoes has always been in the vegetable category, and it will always be. So, there. And don't try to break it up. Oh, it's not technically a fruit, it's a berry. And berries not fruits. Berries are berries. Ah, go kiss someone's ass if you want to be so pedantic about stuff. Fruit's a fruit and a vegetable is a vegetable. I break it down even more and make the consumers even more confused. I say, it says keep the two categories, fruit and vegetables, and then keep those two as they've always been. If it gets planted in the garden, it's the vegetable. If it gets planted in an orchard or vineyard, it's the fruit. Which isn't always correct, because strawberries, and get planted in the garden. But there are small exceptions with that. And I'm tired. I think I just said the wrong word. Why are you sliding? Like tracked on ice. What the fuck? You can also tell I'm tired because I'm swearing a lot more than I usually do. But conversations like this get me very heated because I just don't understand it. How? Okay, the last month, greens, eggs, ice cream, butter, milk, some cereal, and loaves of bread were recalled in the last month. That is nearly everything we grow. How are you screwing up that much? And some of them, they're not even saying what they're contaminated with. They're just saying it's been recalled. Which I'm concerned with, what are they contaminated with? And a lot of them just have the same thing. It's either salmonella or or as some of them was listed, not properly packaged. Which, what does that mean? Not properly packaged. Was the air seal not properly sealed? Was it not put in a UV protected pouch so the small amount of sun it got ruined the produce? What does improper packing mean? Seriously, what does it mean? I'm just more concerned with the produce coming from overseas, coming here, have some type of contamination on them because they were using some type of someone over there was like, hey, use this gets rid of stuff, and they're using stuff that makes people sick, and they're not telling us that because here they're like, oh, we don't want to ruin their reputation. But who cares when it comes to uh, getting people sick? Like, oh, can't remember where I heard it before, but I heard something about preventing certain vegetables from freezing. You can spray a thin layer of diesel over the top of them. Which is a thing, and people do that in certain countries because diesel has a lower freezing temperature, so by spraying it over the top you prevent water from accumulating on the plants, so when they get a frost it doesn't freeze. Yes, that is true, but if it's not properly washed off or you don't get any rain after that, the produce will suck it in through the greenery. Because, solo, soto, ah, solo, I'm tired, I'm fucking up words. Solo, I hate myself right now. I can say the word usually, and now I'm just blah, blah, blah. And I'm having the problem where the more I say it, the more it sounds weird, and I keep fucking up even more. Photosynthesis. There we go. Good enough. Anything that's on the leaves when that happens will be absorbed with it. Well, if there's chemicals and stuff, it gets absorbed into the plants. Some of the pest control stuff is sprayed on the plants on purpose. So when the bugs start to eat the vines of the plants, because that stuff has been sprayed onto the vines, it gets absorbed by the vines. So when the bug starts eating it, it kills them. But the problem is a lot of the, like in our neck of the woods, carrots have been recalled in some of the location stores. And it's because the carrots were, the organic carrots were contaminated with salmonella. Like, how? What? Are you just spraying liquid slurry and then immediately planting the stuff? How are you infecting stuff so much? That hasn't even been 20 minutes and I'm already gone into a rant of stuff I don't like. Problem is, a lot of the produce I just don't know how to grow properly, and every time I do, I seem to fuck up in some way. Also, the ground where I have has an issue with blight. Every time I grow tomatoes, unless I put it in pots, because if I plant it directly on the ground or in the ground as seedlings, it will always end up with blight. People keep telling me blight has to do with the dry, with dust getting on the plants, but I've tried putting the like, it looks like cheesecloth, but it's supposed to be a screen. Tried putting that over the top of them, and it still ended up with blight. I think it just has to do with something in the soil. I think the problem is the soil what I have is just, the problem is where I live, it used to be there's a bit of a hill. So the house is built up onto a platform that's been built by hand. So it's up out of the water level. Level is only a few yards from the back of the house. The low point from a hill that's behind the house, about a football field away. It's American football, by the way. So about 200 yards away, the hill comes down and goes into a valley. The valley is my backyard. All the water pools there. which, to be honest, which should make it the best place to plant stuff. Problem is, like I said, they brought in a lot of excess material from somewhere. Problem is, the house is old as shit. Because my house started as a log cabin, either before or during the Civil War. So either before or during the Civil War, a one-room log cabin was built here. Then somewhere along the way, they added a addition onto it, another addition, and then the house was built. And my grandfather bought it sometime in the 30s and renovated the entire thing to look more modern of the 1930s. And then started a dairy farm here, which unfortunately my family's never been rich. So when the barn burnt down in the 50s, instead of trying to rebuild, and this was before the government decided to start throwing money at dairy farmers and telling them, hey, because we helped you out, you now have to produce milk for us. My family never got that big, never was around at the time when that happened. So back in the early 50s, the barn burnt down because a calf kicked a lantern that was hanging. Don't know how. Dad said the lantern usually hung up on the ceiling, but no one knows how the calf kicked it down. It must have been bucking or something. But it burnt down and killed a good amount of the cattle. And my grandfather never rebuilt the barn. Just gave up and just let other people, just kept renting the property out to people. Just sad because the property got overrun over that amount of time. But yeah, I'm slowly trying to rebuild the family farm, but I'm not looking to do animals. Not yet. Animals are too complex and you need a good system and knowledge to do so. I don't have that knowledge. I know how to take care of cows. Sure, I know how to deal with them. I just don't have the facilities or anything. When we do get cows, you usually get one or two, and we just fence off the 3 acres we have into about 2 to 3 locations, and we just let them back and forth in those locations and feed them a lot of hay and grain just to supplement the other part of their feed. I'd rather just have an area where I can graze them on nothing but grass and hay. Do pure grass fed. But unfortunately, I don't have enough property to do that, nor the facilities to I don't have a barn to store the hay. And storing the hay on a pallet covered with a tarp is not a pliable method. It works for a short time, but not for long term. Like, we haven't had a cow in, oh, I would say 3, 4 years now, and there's still a big chunk of half rotted round bale because the cows didn't eat it fast enough. And about it, I had to take the big chunk of it out and replace it with a brand new one, which that is also sitting on next to that one. So yeah, I would like to get the family back to its roots, but the problem is you can't just start a dairy farm from scratch anymore. It's not. Problem is, the big milk operations won't just allow you to just bring in a couple tanks of dairy, couple. Yeah, I don't know how big those containers are, but the milk cans, the big metal ones, they won't let you just bring in a truckload of them and go, hey, my cows produce this, here you go. Nope, you need a certain amount, and they have to come and pick it up themselves with a tanker. But right now, I got access to a 5-acre muck field, which I have been trying to work over. Problem is, like I said, I don't have much money, so trying to deal with it has been a pain. Because I only had the one tractor at one point, and now I have 4 tractors. One of them is my grandfather's tractor, which I need to rebuild. I bought that last summer. It's a Minneapolis Moline R. It's a beautiful looking tractor. It just needs some work. Um, I have a John Deere B, which unfortunately I bought it. I bought a two-way bottom. Uh, oh, it's a John Deere model ABG two-way plow. Let me see. I do believe I have a photo of the original original concept art for it. Uh, personal farm stuff. John Deere. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so it's a John Deere two-way tractor plow number A3, B3, and G3 model. Yeah, I'll just show you. it looks like this. Hooks up here, goes underneath, hooks up to here. Problem is, here, it's hard to tell, but right there is like the uh twisting arms in the back. If I can find any images of the tractor. That's my tractor right there. Uh right here. It's hard to tell in that drawing, but this part is required. Um to I'll find one that doesn't have. Oh, apparently I got the picture here. So, yeah, if I go to my tractor, back side of my tractor right here, you can see mine doesn't have that. So I bought the plow about a year and a half before I bought the John Deere. I did not know I needed that. I thought it was a mechanical weight and I could just reach up, grab the lever, and pull towards me. No. And just use weight to help pull it up. No. So, unfortunately. And I know some of you John Deere fans might be complaining that's the wrong green. Yes, I'm well aware. Whoever had this just painted some green on it to stop it. Because the original paint is gone. If I scrape at this, it just goes straight into brown. So someone tried to protect the tractor from rusting anymore by just covering it with this green paint, which is fine. I don't care. And if you notice, these are the wrong wheels. It's hard to tell here, but yeah, there's none here, unfortunately. But you can see the cracks, the cracking tires. I wonder if I got a picture of it. Yeah, that is a hole. You can see the inner tube right there. I drove this about 5-ish miles home. I think a little bit more. And this tire scared me because unfortunately, if a tire pops, you can put into, especially if it's this side, you can just drive it on the edge of the road on the dirt and just go in first gear slow and it'd be fine. Unfortunately, it's this side, and if it gets off the road, you can see it here. Um, Somebody took a rim from a John Deere H and slapped it to fit, and took a rim a John Deere from a John Deere B. So these are 30. Yeah, so you can see these are that doesn't look right. Not 12. This is a 12.4. For some reason I have it written down on my computer that's 1136. But yeah, these are 36-inch rims. I don't want them. I like the look of them, but because they're COD jobs, I don't want them. I would rather have the correct tires. Correct rims and tires, please. So I've been trying to look for used tires. Problem is, they're expensive. Newer ones are more expensive. I'm not paying almost $2,000 per tire. And I don't trust the crap that they sell at Walmart. Also, I need to be careful what tires I buy because depending on what tires I get, I forget. Because if I get the wrong tire, I won't be able to use it in the tractables because they don't allow certain style of tire. Oh, I forget what it is, but it's because the older the tires they want is the ones with layers. The new there's other styles of tires that don't have the layers. They have uh like thicker rubber, which means it doesn't the tires won't bow as they should. And because they don't give as much, I don't know. I don't know exactly what I'm talking about. I would have to ask the people again, but I'm not a tire expert. I am a uh not really an expert on anything, to be honest. I'm a man. How's the saying go? I'm a jack of all trades, a master of none. Something, something, something. That's what I am. I can do pretty much everything. Do I know everything? No. Do I pretend I know everything? Absolutely not. I'll be the first to tell you I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. It's like a lot of the stuff, a lot of the information I know, I get it from watching YouTube videos, or I have very little experience doing it. Like the water pump on a Chevy truck or the Ford 2000 tractor. I've done both of them once. I've done it. I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I did it. It's like I understand how to use a can of spray paint. I understand how to paint it. I have the knowledge on how to use it. I don't have the knowledge on physical use. The practical, that's the word I'm looking for. I have the knowledge. I do not have the practical knowledge. Is that the word I'm looking for? I don't know. I know a lot of things. I just never done it personally in real life. I watched enough videos, read enough books on how it should be done. But I also know the difference when it comes to how it should be and how it will be are two different things. As a person that lives in the middle of nowhere and has to defend himself, or have to defend. Oh, one of those moments where I know the word, but I can't seem to say it. Well, someone a lot more famous than I said it better. A country boy will survive. We can make do as long as we have the knowledge and someone older and wiser to explain what we're doing wrong. We can make it through. And sometimes breaking the boundary of what should be is what us rednecks do the best. And stuff should be done this way, shape, or form. Through that, we do it this way, and look, it works better. I'll figure out something else to rant about next week, because as soon as I'm done with this little part, I'm done. But my brain is getting to the point of being fried. The body's willing to keep going, but the mind is dead. And the more I talk, the more I ramble, the more I can tell I'm tired. And if you ever been part of a wait staff at a restaurant outside a truck stop, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Most truckers get to this chatty part is because they're tired and they don't understand the normal cues of shut the fuck up anymore. Also, a lot of us are driving trucks by ourselves for hours on end with nothing but us to talk to. Talking to someone else is nice, even if it's a one-sided conversation that we had were with ourselves a few hours earlier. I'm also one of those type of people that like to try to predict what other people are going to say. If I know who they are, I try to predict what they're going to say, so I have an outcome of what I'm going to say in response to their response. Problem is, I'm bad at it, and I always seem to piss people off because of it. Sometimes I will attempt to finish people's conversation when that's not what they're talking about. And it's not, I don't mean anything by it, just, the way I am. It's not me trying to be smarter. It's just me trying to be... what's the best way to say it? I like to try to predict what's about to happen. It's like every interaction with my cat, I try to predict how they're going to interact with me when they come up to me. Does not always work out. Cats are unpredictable beasts of annoyance. Nope, we're not going to fuck trees today. Also, before I end, uh, did anyone get a sight of the, or do you know of the North Korean vessel that sunk? They tried to launch it off the dry dock because the dry dock's higher than the water level. So their idea was, we have places like that in the United States where a ship is built and then it's pushed sideways into the water, and it slides down a rail system that slides it nice and comfortably into the water. Is something went wrong, and uh, there's conflicting reports of exactly what happened. But now they're brand new war vessels at the bottom of the ocean, and it's, well, the harbor. And I wouldn't say the bottom. I think it's on its side. It's from the images I saw. And it's hilarious. Because if I remember correctly, I think it's in the United States or it's somewhere, maybe Canada. The place where they launch the boats sideways like that has only a space only barely wide enough for the ship to fit into when it slides in before it's pulled by a tugboat out into the bay, because the ship building yard is down a small river. So if the ship is kind of too heavy, it can actually go into the water, hit, and splash up and smack into the other side of the river. And it's been known to damage ships by doing that. But unfortunately, they can't cut the other side of the river back farther because there's a highway there. They actually have to close down the highway every time they launch a ship because it creates a tidal wave across the highway. I forget where it's at. I want to say it's somewhere on the East Coast. But I think for now, I'm going to end it here. Hopefully I'll have all this done. So the only thing left we got to do, because everything is done, is this. That was a. Is this field here? Field 27. Everything else should be planted. Yeah. Yep. So it's field 6 and field 2, then field 27, and then we can fast forward. And then I'm just waiting for a great demand for anything, and then I'm just gonna sell off everything I have for that great demand to wherever it needs to go. I'm just gonna save the game in front of you guys, so if something goes wrong again, I have video proof. I actually do record it when I'm playing by myself now, off camera, or when I'm not recording the everything I'm doing to prep for the video. I actually do record right before I save, so in case something happens again, I have video proof of it failing, so I can figure out exactly what is happening this time, so I can try to save it from failing. But either way, I have been Blue Devil Red Devil, and if you like what you see and you want to see more of it, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe. Yes. I can't, my eyes are burning so much, I'm just keeping them closed at the moment. But I will see you all in hell. See ya. I'm here with my eyes closed, talking to you guys. Weird.